Hello and welcome once again to the Kate and Eric Show podcast. Like I said last week, I have my brother here who is expert on Finnish and their culture and their neighboring brothers over there in Russia. Because I did the clips yesterday or last week from Tucker Carlson and his interview with Putin and everything. So he's here, so you can say hi, Sean.
Hello, I'm glad to be here. I don't know if I'm an expert on all things Finnish and Russian, but lived there for a while, so I've got some knowledge of how the people are and kind of what they think about Putin and Russia.
All right, well, that's great. So we'll get into all that here. Plus, I had no idea it was President's Day until my daughter and son, they were here for the weekend. They were, getting ready to send them back to school or back to their mom's house on Sunday, getting their laundry done and everything. They're like, Dad, it's President's Day tomorrow and we don't have any school. And I was like, oh, okay. So we'll go over that too. There's a nice little, academic polling of the top 45 presidents. And I bet you'll never guess who's number 45. Who they think is number 45 anyway. So we'll get into that. So welcome to the show. Like always, we'll start with sports. My brother and I are big sports guys. We love sports. And so you can also follow me here on Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube, and Truth Social, Kate Network Show on all of those. Also, my brother owns a cookie company with my parents called Kexi. Kexi.com. You can give a little spiel on that if you would like.
Yeah, I mean we started up a few years ago, and we've had lots of good growth, and so it's been quite the journey since we started. But definitely head to our website. It's Kexi.com, Keki. We make all kinds of handmade gourmet cookies, and all the recipes have come from our family and kind of been handed down and improved over time, and so there may be lots of love and care, but we've also got a discount going on right now. It's if you type in Winter Blues during checkout, you'll get a 10% discount. So
sweet. Yeah, they're really really good. One of my favorite is called the Texas sheet cake.
Yeah,
it's basically like a Texas sheet cake. If you've never had a Texas sheet cake, well, shame on you. You should really try it. It's fantastic.
It is, yeah.
So it's like a brownie, but with icing all over the top of it. It's amazing. So like I was telling him, hopefully he listens to the show.
Yeah, every once in a while. Yeah, when I can.
But we do sports. The NFL, like you said, is over. The NFL got their shot with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, so the script worked. And there's not really anything going on. I mean, there is basketball. Like apparently, I had no idea it was the NBA All-Star weekend.
I didn't either. That's crazy.
Because, Steph Curry and then, I don't know, whoever she is from the WNBA that nobody watches. They did a three-point shooting contest and, Steph Curry won. But the actual game, they ended up scoring like 400 points. Both. They did the West Coast and then the East Coast teams.
Wait, in the All-Star game?
Yeah.
In the NBA?
Yeah. It was 211 to 186.
What?
So,
I didn't see that. That's crazy.
Yeah. So there was no defense. It's just I don't know. Like if you listen to the show, obviously you know that I don't really care about the NBA or the WNBA. Anybody cares about that anymore. But so it's kind of a joke. Everybody was like, even Stephen A. Smith was like, "This is just ridiculous."
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
were they trying at all on defense, or were they just kind of
no? If you watch
messing around and having fun, kind of?
Well, yeah, they were. It was just like there was. I think the West inbounded the ball and it didn't get put on the floor once. They didn't dribble at all.
Oh, so they're just kind of messing around.
Yeah, well, they don't take it serious. But then you look at like the All-Star game of like Michael Jordan era or Kobe Bryant.
Oh, it's different. Yeah.
They actually tried in that game to win. This is just.
I feel like kind of all the All-Star games are kind of changing though, because you even have like the NFL. They don't even do.
Yeah, it's
they
just a flag football game, and then a bunch of different skills.
Yeah, which I didn't mind actually. I thought the flag football thing was kind of fun, but it is kind of sad to see that they're kind of moving away from like just a normal game.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think the only really good one they actually still try is the MLB All-Star Game.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I mean, the home run derby's freaking fun. I love watching that.
That is fun. I mean, I don't watch any All-Star games though, with any pro sports.
Not even
anymore.
Not even
NFL, baseball. No, I don't watch any of them.
Oh,
I'm not interested in them at all. I don't know.
So, fun story. Speaking of baseball, spring training. There's NCAA baseball has started and softball started. I did talk about softball last year when Oklahoma won. You know, I hate Oklahoma because I'm a Texas fan. I have to like their women's softball because they're amazing girls, amazing women. They give everything to Jesus and praise Him. And I'm like, oh, I can't hate them. That's the only Oklahoma team I actually like. But anyway, so yeah, with baseball, shoot, where was I going with that? I don't remember now.
I don't know. Spring training had started. Is that what you're saying?
Shoot. Let's see. Hold on. All right, I remembered. I had a little Joe Biden moment there. I forgot what I was doing. So I had growing up. Our dad really, with me anyway, it was, well, I'd have to say with me too. I wasn't a big baseball guy growing up. I didn't, I did baseball a little bit, Little League, but I was in the outfield and I was bored and I was watching other games. I wasn't paying attention to the games. So anyway, I've told the story before on this show, but you guys got me into baseball with the Astros. Now, none of you, I mean, Dad a little bit likes the Astros. He'll kind of follow them, not really, but.
Yeah, that is kind of funny how that happened. 'Cause we were like huge Astro fans, and now Dad doesn't care.
No.
I'm a Yankees fan.
Yes.
And Daniel, I guess, kind of cares, but I don't know.
He's our other brother, Daniel.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
No. I get home from my church service mission, which is this year will be 20 years.
Wow, that's crazy.
Since I've been home. We go out for 2 years. So that's why, my brother here, Sean, knows about Finnish stuff, as he served his church mission in Finland. But yeah, I get home and they're like, yeah, the Astros are great. They had Roger Clemens, Andy Pettitte, Craig Biggio, Jeff Bagwell, Carlos Beltran, the Killer Bees.
The glory days.
Those are, these are...
Not anymore. I guess these are the glory days.
These are glory days of Astros baseball.
Yeah. Those were fun times.
So yeah, you guys got me all into baseball and loving the Astros, and now you guys don't even care. And I'm the one with the 10 jerseys and the 500 hats and.
Well, it was, even though I know everyone does it in the MLB. For me, what turned me off towards the Astros was just the whole cheating thing. And so I don't know what happened. It broke my heart or something, because I loved watching the 2017 World Series with them, and I was really into them. And then when that came out, it just I don't know.
Yeah, he went to the Yankees side.
Yeah, even though I know that they've cheated too. I don't know what it is.
So yeah, so we got spring training starting this coming week. We have obviously the NCAA basketball is going on right now. Which BYU? I saw the highlights of the BYU Baylor game. That was pretty good.
I didn't watch any of the highlights, but I did not expect them to win. So
I know Baylor.
I was pleasantly surprised when I woke up and saw they won. That was great.
I know. Well, it's because if you listen to the show, I'm a big BYU fan. Have been since I was 5 years old or whatever it was. So it's really exciting to see Big 12 logo all over BYU football and their basketball courts. It's really cool. I hated the stupid decade of independence. I'm like, we're not Notre Dame.
No.
But I don't know. I guess there were good things that came from that.
Yeah, I mean, it got us to where we are. So I feel like we earned a lot of respect. But those definitely were. Those were some difficult years of watching.
Days.
Yeah, BYU sports.
Although this year's football was
It was pretty bad.
not so great either.
It was
But
bad.
anyway, so well, yeah, we'll get into that. I think that's 10 minutes of sports. So if you're bored of that, I apologize. But let's get into this stuff here with, and I have a nice poll or a what is this? Official results of the 2024 Presidential Greatness Project expert. Yeah, I don't think they're experts. Survey in honor of President's Day. We'll talk about who they think is the best. So let's get into what you thought of the Tucker Carlson Putin interview.
Yeah, let's do it.
So what did you think?
I liked it a lot. There were a lot of interesting things that Putin said that I guess I hadn't thought about or didn't know. And so that was really interesting. I did think that most of the time he was just kind of pointing the finger and pushing all the blame onto the United States, us, which I also don't agree with. Yeah. So I feel like, it's probably somewhere more in the middle that, with what he's saying. But I really liked it. I thought it was very interesting. And it was very interesting. We've had, we've got Biden right now as a president, and
he's wonderful.
He can't speak, and then we had Trump, and whether or not you like him or you don't, like, he's definitely an odd speaker. He's a little different in the way that he speaks compared to other politicians, and so it was a little refreshing to hear, like, Putin, even though he's speaking in Russian, it was just refreshing to see the way that he carried himself and spoke.
The translator did a great job.
Yeah, the translator was great. Yeah, but it was just nice to see like a put together person
a guy that could speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I said that. I think I said that in some of those same words like last week. It was refreshing to sit there and actually listen to a president of a country that could articulate. I mean, he gave 1,000-year history of Russia that I didn't really know. I didn't pay attention to it. I'm an American, obviously. I didn't learn the Russian history.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time that a U.S. president gave like a speech like that, where they are like giving almost a history lesson and like showing their knowledge of history? It's just like, I don't know. It was very refreshing to kind of hear that.
Yeah, with names and dates and areas.
Yeah.
Even though that we'll get into this with the president's thing, but you heard that his political opponent, I forget his name though, Navalny or whatever.
Putin's political opponent?
Yeah, he died.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I heard that.
Yeah, so I guess he was poisoned or something a while ago, and he left the country and then came back to the country. They put him in prison, and he died in some Siberian prison. He was just taking a walk, and then he just died, apparently.
Just recently?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't
like
hear that.
Last week. So, of course, Trump's using that as like, this is what's happening to him here in America, which I kind of can see.
In some ways, yeah, I could kind of see that.
You've got Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, there saying, because businesses are all worried that in New York they're going to be persecuted or they're going to be targeted just like Trump was, and she's like, oh, don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. Or this Trump is just a special occasion, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it's like, how can you not worry about that though? That's insane. Because as soon as you start showing support for the other side, are they then going to change their mind and go after you the way that they did with Trump?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Crazy.
It's insane. Well, like one of the Shark. What's the TV show? The Sharks, where they like.
Where
the owner of the Mavericks is on. Shark. It's not Shark Tank, is it?
Shark Tank, yeah,
is it Shark Tank?
Yeah, I kept wanting to say Shark Week, but
no,
it's Shark Tank. Yeah.
Kevin O'Leary says New York has already a loser state. Like California is a loser state, and I would never invest in New York now, and I'm not the only person saying that.
Yeah,
So it's insane. But so we can talk a little more of the presents in a minute. But well, how did you like living so close to Russia? Because I mean, as an Americans, you always hear about these horror stories of Russia's this evil, like Star Wars empire over there.
Yeah, I mean, for the first while, I didn't really even think about it because I mean
because they're right next to each other, right?
Yes, yeah, they're right next to each other. Yeah.
So they're like us in Mexico.
Yeah, it'd
But
be a lot like
Biden
that.
says Mexico's part of Israel now, so
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, but I mean, the first little while I was pretty wrapped up in just trying to learn the language and get to know people, and so for a while being there, I don't know, I didn't really think about it, but once Russia invaded Ukraine the first time, like back in 2012 or 2013, the Finnish people that I spoke with and talked to and taught, they were very nervous about Russia because they didn't know what that meant for them. And Russia had control over Finland back before World War II. And so in World War II, Finland was actually on the wrong side of things. But not
they were part of the Axis of
yeah, not because they necessarily were for helping Germany do what Germany was doing, but just because they wanted to break off from Russia, and so they were on the other side of things. But since then, they have always been.
There wasn't a whole lot of fighting up there in World War II, though, right?
Well, there was between the Finns and the Russians. So there's like.
American history,
no, you don't really hear about that. Yeah, but I remember learning about when I was there. I remember learning about they called it the White Death. That the Finnish people would dress in white and so they would like kind of camouflaged with the snow, and they would go skiing around and shooting Russians and stuff. So they would like ski down the mountain and
as they were one of the Call of Duties.
Yeah, it is. That's probably where they get it from, I think, because that's a pretty famous thing in Finland. They like to talk about that a lot. But yeah, so when Russia started going into Ukraine, back in it was in 2012 or 2013 or 2014. That's when they started to get really nervous, and they were afraid that a war was going to break out between Finland and Russia. Because during that time, Russia was also flying planes over their airspace when they weren't supposed to be, and so everyone was kind of.
What years were you there again? I don't remember.
2012 to 2014.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you've been home for
10 years.
Almost.
Yeah, 10 years in September. Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, isn't it?
Yeah. Time went by really fast. But yeah, so they were pretty afraid of when that stuff was going on because they just didn't know what was going to happen. And Finland's such a small country, and I don't think, from what I remember, Finland is also not part of NATO, or they weren't during that time. They might be now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it seems like everybody's put in NATO except for Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah.
So did they have? Why were they flying planes over?
I don't know, and I don't know if Finland ever found out. I don't know if they were, which I know that Russia has done in. I want to say, I mean, I might be wrong about this, but Megan, my wife, is from Alaska, and I know they sometimes do similar things there. Because I know that Megan and her dad's in the military, and so I know that a lot of the military base and the military guys there would get kind of nervous too, because I feel like that would sometimes
I
happen.
didn't know they flew over our airspace too.
I don't know if they flew over it, but they got really close. I know they got closer than they were probably supposed to. And then in Finland, they definitely flew over their airspace, and they weren't supposed to.
You saw like MiGs flying over?
I didn't see any thing, but I just know that happened. Yeah.
Did you see Tom Cruise?
Did I see Tom Cruise?
F-14 flying over too?
No. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So were there Russians living in Finland?
There are some, not a lot. When you get to the side of Finland, that's closer to Russia, obviously there's a lot more Russian-speaking people there. And so there was someone who was serving a mission in Finland with me that was also, she was Russian, and so she went to those Russian-speaking areas. She could connect with the people a little bit better. But I don't think that they claim that they're Russian or anything. I think that they say that they're Finnish. But as far as I understand, I didn't serve in those areas, so I don't know 100%. But yeah.
So what did they think? What did Finland think of Putin?
I know they were. As far as I know, the people were pretty scared of him. Just didn't know what he was going to do. I know when Russia invaded Ukraine that first time, that this Russian-speaking sister that was on this mission with me, she talked about how she was afraid of Putin as well. He's been in power there forever.
It was like 20 years.
Yeah, and so I know she was afraid of him a little bit. We talk about that, and I just know that it was Finnish people were pretty tense during that time. So I'm sure they are now too, with all that's going on in Ukraine. Right now, I'm sure that they're very tense and a little nervous about what could happen to them because they're right on the border there.
Yeah.
So.
So I know you said you ran into people from other Scandinavian countries.
Yeah.
Were they also nervous like that, or?
I'm not sure, to be honest. There's a lot of Swedish people that come to Finland, and Swedish people that live in Finland. So I ran into them a lot, but I didn't really have an opportunity to speak with everybody about politics and stuff. Yeah, mostly focused on the gospel, as I was supposed to be. But I'm sure that they were probably a little nervous too. But I think just because of the history between Finland and Russia, I think that Finns were probably a little bit more nervous. Because isn't that kind of Putin's claim to Ukraine that they used to be part of Russia?
Yeah, that they all were, I don't know, I think he called brothers or whatever, but for the motherland. I remember him saying that a whole bunch of times.
Yeah, so I could see, Finnish people kind of thinking oh, well, is he going to make that same claim to us? That we used to be a part of Russia as well. So is he going to try to invade and take over? And so that was kind of their main fear, is that they'd have to kind of go through that again.
Just how many people live over there?
There's just 5 million.
Only 5 million?
Only 5 million. Yeah, at least when I was there. It might be a little bit more now.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it was 5 million. So it's small.
It's like the size of the DFW area.
Yeah.
Or DFW might be bigger.
Yeah. Well, it's only too, because I lived in some of the topmost parts of Finland, and then I lived down all the way at the bottom, and it's only 8 hours.
To drive the whole thing?
To drive the whole thing. So.
Oh, I thought it was bigger than that.
No, it's small. Yeah. And then, that's lengthwise. I don't know what it is.
Probably just a couple hours.
Probably just a couple hours, yeah.
Wow. Anyways,
It's a small little country, and they like to be viewed that way because they don't want any attention.
I just imagine on a cold, because I hate the cold, and if you listen to the show, I absolutely hate the cold. That's why I live in Texas, because it's nice and it's 70 degrees or 60 degrees or whatever it is today. But dang.
Yeah, Finland would not be the place for you then if you don't like the cold.
No way. I lived 2 years in Minnesota, and that's, I hate it.
Yeah, how cold did it get in Minnesota? What's the coldest you saw?
Probably -30.
Okay. It's about the same then in Finland.
Maybe not 30. Well, probably at night, yeah.
Yeah, I think the coldest I saw in Finland was like -28.
Ugh. No.
Yeah.
Yakaroni, no thank you.
Yeah. Is it the same in Minnesota too? When like during the winter, the sun isn't up?
No, that's like
No.
Alaska.
Okay.
No,
Yeah, because you got the cold in Finland, and then on top of that, you have
no sun.
no sun.
Oh, that's right. I remember you had to like take vitamin D pills
Yeah.
and everything like.
Because it took me, I think it was 3 months from the time that I got there that I finally saw the sun.
Oh man, I don't think I could do
It
that.
was crazy. It was hard sometimes.
Oh, I bet.
Just in the dark all the time.
Because I didn't realize Finland is. So that was. How long have they been a country then?
Since let me see. It's been a while. I know that their Independence Day is.
It's not July 4th, is it?
No, it's December 6th.
Oh, they just had it.
So they declared independence 1917.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they were recognized in 1919, but then in World War II, they were fighting off Russia.
Oh, so they were kind of on our side, sort of. But they were just fighting Russia just to be independent.
Just to stay independent,
Oh.
yeah.
But not really fight with us.
No, I think, like I said, like Finnish people, they just want to be left alone. they don't really want to be involved in anything. They just want to be alone. They're proud of their country and their independence, and they don't want to be involved in really anything. That's kind of the gist that I got from them. And so I think
Kind of how I feel too.
it is how I feel. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. I don't want to get involved. I don't want to be the world's police anymore. You know, that was kind of the joke growing up that America's the world's police and we have to get involved in everything. I'm like, no. Like, there's a guy I'm talking to on TikTok. Well, I have for the past, I don't know, a few days, 4 or 5 days. You know, and he's like, well, we should, we need to support. Of course, we need to secure our own border, but we need to help support it. If there's evil wrongdoings, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Let's go back to, it's just crazy, because I brought up the instance of the Revolutionary War where France, they gave us money, they gave us troops, they gave us ships to help beat the Brits. And then as soon as that's over and Washington's the president, they're like, okay, can you help us? And he's like, no.
Yeah, I know.
No, we're not going to get involved in Europe's wars. You should fight that on your own.
I know.
But that's kind of how, I don't know. I think a lot of conservatives, are like that now. We're done with fighting the wars. I'm sick and tired of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got our troops everywhere, and I think we're tired of that. We're just tired of, sending our family members and brothers and, our troops out to all these places where we don't have to be involved, and we've got all these issues at home and that need to be taken care of, and I feel like we're just stretched a little too thin. And
10 million people can.
Yeah.
Let's get our troops on our border.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and we're just trying to police everything in the world and make sure everything in the world is taken care of and okay. I just think that people have their own responsibilities where they live to take care of their own things first. Yeah. So it's not a bad thing that Finland, is like that. But that is just how they are. It was odd coming back from Finland, especially to Texas, because I don't know, some Texans are we're very loud and in your face and how are you doing? Talking to you.
My wife Amy had that same thing coming from Florida, where I guess nobody really talks to you. I mean, which we kind of experienced a little bit of that when we went down there for the funeral in January.
Oh yeah.
They were like, yeah, that's. She was really surprised that Southern people were, we'll talk to you.
Yes, yeah. And after being in Finland for a couple of years, it was because Finnish people, I mean, you could be on the bus or the train or, just wherever, and it's just completely silent, even though there's a bunch of people around you. and then coming back here and like people are just going right up to you and talking to you, and you're just like, whoa, hello. Finnish people are just, they want to be, they just keep to themselves, and that's how they kind of run their country for the most part.
Yeah, I noticed that like at the gym when I went down to the gym in Florida there. Because at the gym here, I've got a whole bunch of friends, and I was kind of looking around at the one in Florida, and like nobody's talking to anybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's just kind of doing their. I mean, there was like little groups of like maybe two, but then like at the gym I go to, I talk. I work out a little bit and then talk to like for like an hour. It seems like, and you just talk to whoever, but it's a different. We're a different culture.
It's different down here. Yeah.
Sure. Well, do you know what it's like living in Russia? Because Tucker, he did some videos of him going to the grocery store or going to other places. There's pictures of him or videos at the subway, and it looks all nice and beautiful. And he interviewed with Glenn, and I'll play a little bit. Glenn Beck.
Oh, okay.
We know. Our families are friends. We've known the Becks for
a
long time, since like '89. And so, Glenn's sitting there interviewing Tucker, and he's like, yeah, I mean, Russia looks nice. And he's like, why can't we do that here in America? Because he's being labeled a Putin lover and everything else. If you say anything good about Russia, then you're just a Putin lover and you hate Ukraine and blah, blah, blah. But
I don't know what it's like to live there. I've never been there or anything, so I'm not sure. I can't.
Oh, you didn't have anybody like move from there?
I mean, we had, so there were other church missionaries that were in Russia that were from our same church, and they had to come to Finland every couple months to renew their visa, because Russia only allowed them like a 3 to 6 month visa or something. And so they'd have to leave the country and then wait for their visa to get renewed and then go back. And so at one point on my mission, that happened, and we had a couple Russian missionaries that stayed with us. And I do remember that they when they had to leave, they were like, "Oh, I wish we could just stay because it's so much nicer here, and people are nicer to you."
In Finland?
Yeah.
The
Finland.
People that don't talk to anybody?
Yeah. They're like, people are just so much nicer, and it just feels like the sun is shining here all the time, and it's just so dark over there. So I don't know if it's just because of the area that they were like assigned to for their mission, but that has always this kind of stuck with me and made me laugh that they just kind of painted this picture that Russia's like this dark
hole.
Yeah, hole that no one wants to live in. So obviously, I mean, that's probably not true, but
yeah,
that's the only thing I could say to what it's like to live there.
Interesting. Well, I don't know. He makes it. Tucker makes it look, nice. I guess I listened a little bit more of the interview that Glenn did, and I guess Tucker was like, "Yeah, why don't you come over?" And Glenn's like, "No, I will end up disappearing." Well, I mean, there's I just saw it recently where there's a ballerina who's Russian that was, I guess, raising money for Ukraine. She raised like $50, and she's in prison.
She raised only $50, and they put her in
$51
prison
or something like that, and they put her in prison. So
that's
maybe you don't want to go over there.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is crazy.
Because I don't know, the Kremlin looks pretty cool, though, that building, but I don't know if you want to go over there.
It does, yeah. I mean, it would be really cool to visit Russia, but a little scary too.
Bring like United States grounds. So you're like, I'm an American citizen.
Yeah. And you just don't know too. Like, are all those things like for show that Tucker is seeing? Is he only seeing the good stuff, or like what's behind the scenes?
Oh yeah.
Because like, if we're hearing about these stories of ballerinas going to prison for
political
raising
prisoners being
$50,
dying at like 47.
Yeah, then you got to know that there's other things going on behind the scenes, but
it's all for show.
Yeah, that would be my thought on it. But
yeah, it's just interesting, like a country like that. And then we got people that we have 10 cities, and we've got all kinds poop
Poop.
streets.
Needles.
San Francisco, Philadelphia. So it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that was interesting. You know, it's be a thing to go there. I think. So go visit Finland like in the summer. Is that what
Oh
you
yeah. In the summertime, it's beautiful because it's probably like 70, 80 degrees, no humidity. The sun is shining 24/7. It's
That'd be
awesome.
weird.
It is a little weird, but it's actually really fun. Because
So
you
like
don't.
1 a.m, the sun's out.
Yeah.
Odd.
At certain points during the summer. Yeah, like there was one time. It's like the summer solstice or whatever, and the sun like officially never goes down, so it's up all day, all night. And so all the church members and like all of us missionaries got to stay out really late with them, and because they do like a big party and
Oh,
eat
that's
lots of
cool.
food and stuff on the lake. It's pretty cool. So if you're planning on going to Finland,
Go during the summer. When it's not-
or if you want to see the Northern Lights too, you could do that. You'd have to go.
Oh, that would be cool.
Those are pretty cool. I did get to see those.
That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah,
Maybe one day.
yeah. It's kind of expensive to get over there, so
Yeah, probably a little bit.
yeah. And it's not a cheap place to live either. So
Really?
no, it's very expensive.
How much are like an average house?
Like an average house.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I know that most people don't live in houses though. Like here,
Oh.
it's mostly like apartment buildings and stuff. So all the members of our church, like most of them, if not like most people, it's like apartment buildings. And then
Oh, really?
yeah, and then some people there are homes there, but it's not like here. Like living in a home
like
is like the
suburbia.
standard. Like you live in a home usually,
Yeah.
but it's not like that there. There were lots of people that had like big families, but they're living in like some small apartment.
Oh man.
Yeah, and then it's interesting too because
Is it just because it's too expensive, or is that just not?
probably yeah, the taxes are super high and yeah, it's expensive.
Because they're what is their kind of government?
They are
I mean, obviously they're not. Yeah, everybody claims we're a democracy, but we're not really a democracy.
yeah, they are. I think they lean a little bit more towards socialism than we do, but their economy is it's probably a little bit more capitalist than socialist. So like there's good things about their economy, but then there's also bad things. So they're taxed really high, and everyone's taxed really high. And then yeah, I'm not sure why. I guess specifically why nobody lives in homes, but yeah, it's probably more expensive.
Yeah, it's cheaper.
Yeah, living wages are probably not as high too. But it is interesting because if you do buy a house, you don't usually buy a house, you build one.
No, really?
Yeah, and you build it. Like it's like the manly thing to do in Finland is like when you're ready to get a house, like you build your own house.
Oh.
Yeah. So lots of times when we would do service, it was like we would kind of help with different things around their house that they were building.
So you get like the 2x4s and.
Yeah, they're building it. Yeah, it's really weird. That's just like one of the things they do. I remember asking them, and they're like, "I don't know. It's just like the manly thing to do here. Like you build your own house."
Oh, that's awesome. And then we get men here who think they're women.
I know.
And are dressing in dresses and putting makeup on, but
Yeah.
sure, they're building.
Whereas
their
in
own house.
Finland, they're building their own house, and they're learning like how to hook up the electricity and how to do the plumbing and all kinds of stuff. It's cool. They're really very handy people.
You got all kinds of toxic masculinity going on over there.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. That would be neat. That'd be pretty interesting, though. Hopefully, they could build a house, but
I don't think I could either. That'd be. I mean, it'd take them a long time.
which is kind of sad. Our grandpa, I don't know if you remember Pop. He was our dad's dad.
Yeah.
He was a good handyman, and that did not really flow down the
No,
pipes.
it did not.
Pop had his nice little office, or not office, but a nice little workbench and all kinds of tools. And Dad and us, we're not handy.
Yeah, I've tried. I have tried. I will say I have tried to get a little bit more handy than I've been in the past. So I can do some things, but I've had to learn it all just on YouTube.
Well, that was very interesting. Yeah, that would be. So, speaking of presidents, I want to get into this, and then I don't know if we'll have time for the other stuff, but since it is President's Day, and do you have it pulled up? We can kind of reference it together.
Yeah, hold up.
So this Greatness Project survey brought to you by University of Houston and Coastal Carolina University, apparently. The 2024 Presidential Greatness Project survey was conducted online. I guess they sent this out to a whole bunch of 525 people, but then only 154 academics responded to this. They were usable responses were received. Okay.
So what does that mean? Usable responses,
I don't know. So I guess that yielding a 30% response rate. So I don't know. Maybe because they didn't like the results, they're like, I'm gonna throw this one out. Maybe that's what that was.
Maybe.
So they are ranking presidents from George Washington to Joe Biden. Let's see, we're not going to go over how they did all this because it's kind of odd how their rankings were, I thought. But the number one president that they had was Abraham Lincoln, which I like that.
I could go with that. Yeah, that's fine.
Lincoln, yeah. Number two, which I don't agree with this really at all, was FDR.
I'm surprised by this because when I was in college, I remember I took a class on presidents and the executive branch of the government, and I remember my professors telling me that for a long time FDR had a really good reputation, but that was starting to kind of go away a little bit because people were kind of coming to the realization that all his policies and programs and things that he made kind of prolonged the Depression.
The Great Depression for 12 years instead of one.
Yeah.
Went through.
So I'm surprised that he's there because I was kind of under the impression that he was kind of losing favor.
Well, apparently not to these 154 people.
Yeah.
So you got FDR. I mean, yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously I wasn't alive back then, so I don't know. But from what we read and what we learned, he's prolonged it out.
Yeah.
George Washington at number 3. I would definitely put him in front of FDR. I think George Washington and Abraham Lincoln would be interchangeable to me.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
The father of the country. He could have been king very easily.
Yeah.
And he chose not to. I mean, he just wanted to go to what's the name of his place? What's the name of his house?
Mount Vernon?
Yeah, Mount Vernon. There you go. He just wanted to live there, live on the land, and then just be left alone. But, he was a great, great man. They got Teddy Roosevelt, number 3, which, I don't know, I guess. Thomas Jefferson, number 4. Okay, I like that. Harry Truman. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on Harry Truman.
I don't either, really.
To be honest. He's the guy that dropped the nuclear bombs, but...
Yeah.
What is this?
7.
Barack Obama. Oh, boy.
I'm really surprised by that. Looking back,
gosh.
I don't know. It's what?
What good did he do?
What great things did he do that would warrant him to be number 7?
I remember, I think to that point we had record gas prices. I know we were paying, because I was living in Utah at the time, we were paying $4.50, $5 a gallon. That was in Utah.
That's crazy.
I think the only time our credit rating dropped, like the national credit rating, it dropped under him and then Biden as well. So there's kind of a correlation there. Interesting. He gave thousands of guns to the cartels. The big Benghazi debacle happened under him. He dropped. There's a clip here I have. I think he's with Pierce Morgan is with Charlemagne. I think the other. I don't know if he's a YouTuber or podcast or whatever he is. I guess he's the president that dropped the most bombs in a year. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't understand why he's 7. I would put him, 40 below. That's what I would think. Dwight Eisenhower is number 8. So I get, post-war, he was a great general. And then you got
Johnson, number 9.
I guess it would be easier to read it off of this. Lyndon B. Johnson, I guess number 9. So, our dad does a talk show as well. He does talk radio, and I obviously was not around during Johnson's years. I was born during Reagan. Apparently, they did not like that at all. Dad didn't like that.
Really?
Yeah, I guess Johnson was not a very good president, according to them. Kennedy at number 10. I think he gets like sympathy vote, or I don't know.
He was not in office for very long.
No.
So I don't know if he. Obviously I wasn't alive during his time, but I don't know. I think 10 is a little high.
Yeah.
For him. Just didn't really have a chance to be
there
very long.
Not really.
So.
James Madison is number 11, the father of the Constitution.
That's crazy. I mean, he should at least be top 10.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's crazy.
And then you got good old Billy Clinton is number 12. Apparently he's down 4 spots. Which is from, no, he's up, according to their little ranking things. John Adams is number 13. Biden is number 14 on their stupid list.
That's so crazy.
How is it possible?
I don't know.
I cannot believe. What? There's not one good thing Biden has ever done.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, his debacle in Afghanistan, tens of millions of dollars left there in equipment and just stuff. And, everybody saw, pictures and the videos of people clinging onto the planes, trying to get the heck out of there. And, he's number 14.
I feel like there's so many things that happen with him that are just so bad that, Trump's the last thing that happened.
There you go, Trump.
Yeah, Trump. So it's, hard to remember all the bad things that have happened with Biden. I'm like, wait, what's happened?
Every day.
Because there's always just something new. You're like, oh, my gosh.
And the whole thing, I don't know if you heard about that Hur report that came out, that special counsel, the Robert Hur report, where he doesn't remember when he was vice president.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, he didn't remember the years. And the other thing, first when it came out, people were, he was like, they claimed obviously people were like, well, he doesn't even know when his son died.
Yeah.
And the whole claim, he got out there and was like, well, how dare you, bring up my son. And it turns out Biden actually brought that up.
Yeah.
That he didn't bring it up at all, because Biden loved to bring up his story of how his son died in Iraq and blah, blah, blah. And, it's awful. I hate, it's that he had his son die, but he didn't die in Iraq. And he can't remember the years he died. So, 14, I would say he's 45.
Yeah, he's been bad.
You got Wilson at number 15, which, he's the guy that brought the progressive movement, kind of changed our history, really was a big racist, and really kind of took blacks out of the good things they did out of the history books. Ronald Reagan is number 16.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Ulysses S. Grant is 17, Monroe 18, George H.W. Bush, 19. John Quincy Adams, 20.
Jimmy Carter, 22. That's crazy.
Yeah. Andrew Jackson was 21st.
I skipped that one.
Yeah. Good job. Yeah. Apparently he was awful as well. I mean, our parents have told us how awful it was during the Carter years.
Yeah.
Well, even Amy, she remembers like having to go and wait in lines for gas.
That's crazy.
So yeah, he should be down in the 40s. You've got Taft, McKinley, Polk, Cleveland, Ford, Van Buren, till 28, 29, Hayes. You've got Garfield, Harrison, George W. Bush is number 32.
Man, I didn't know people had such like bad opinions of him.
Oh yeah, well the whole war with Iraq.
I guess that kind
weapons
of
of mass
tainted
destruction. That
his legacy a little bit.
Yeah, so I don't think he's that low though. I don't know. I voted for him twice. Arthur Calvin Coolidge.
Calvin Coolidge should be higher.
I don't really know much about him. Oh, you did? I don't know much about him.
He's awesome.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, he just left everything alone. So he didn't do much in his presidency, but that's, in my opinion, what made him so great is because he just left things alone. He wasn't messing with things. He wasn't doing all these executive orders. He left the economy alone. He cut spending by
that's good.
Ton. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's
he
never
just kind of reduced government as much as he could. He's awesome. He should be a lot higher.
Top 15?
Yeah, I think so. He's awesome.
That's what I've heard. I've heard he's really good. He was really good. Richard Nixon, 35. Okay. Hoover, 36. Tyler, Taylor. Most of these, you don't really know. You never read about them. Fillmore, Harding, Harrison, Pierce, Johnson, Buchanan, and rounding off number 45 is number 45 himself, Donald Trump. Or no, he's 44. Was he 44 or 45?
He's 45.
Yeah.
He's down one, so he was 44 though. So he's got that going for him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he was definitely not 45. That would be reserved for Biden, Carter.
Where would you put Trump?
I don't know. I had a lot more money when Trump was president than any of the ones. I don't know. I would say, maybe top 20.
I was kind of thinking the same thing, maybe.
Because a lot of the ones during the 1800s, I don't really know. I was too young for a lot of these other ones, or wasn't born, so.
And I think you got to put all like the.
I mean, he's the only president to go to North Korea and cross into North Korea, though.
That is so true. Yeah.
There was no new war started with him, which they all thought that was going to happen.
The economy was doing well.
The economy was crushing.
That is actually a really good point. His foreign policies and stuff are really. He did a great job with all that.
As soon as he left, though, Ukraine gets attacked.
Yeah.
Because Biden's a doofus.
I was gonna say you got to put like all the founding fathers like top 10.
Oh yeah, because
they should all be moved back. Come on.
Yeah, serious.
Everyone else below them.
But yeah, so that's their these 154 elitist academics that they thought was looking to see. This Presidents of Greatness rankings by party ideology. Number 1, Washington. There you go. Conservative rank, yes. Democrat, 3rd. Something like that. Independents rank 2. I guess if they put Lincoln in front of him. Moderate rank 2. Who the heck is a liberal? Oh, they could probably put Obama. Probably put him because of his slave ownership and all that stuff. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, it is Republican rank. Okay, yeah, I see what you're looking at now. Yeah, it's funny because Republicans and conservatives have Trump at 31 and then 26. And then you got Democrats and liberals.
Well, most interesting. So, well, if you have a top 10 presidential rankings, you can let me know at K Nerd Show um, on Facebook, X, or TikTok, or whatever you want to do. But it's interesting. Let's see. So, speaking of how awful, Biden finally visited East Palestine after that horrendous thing a year afterwards. This is what the mayor had to say about him, and see if you catch if he thanks him or not.
EPA, the Department of Transportation. We'd also like to thank Governor Mike DeWine, the Ohio EPA, the Ohio EMA, and the Department of Public Safety, and all of our state and local partners that have been with us since the beginning.
Not a federal thing.
Our village has faced many challenges, but as a community, we have shown resilience. We will not be defined by this single event, rather our response to it and our perseverance. President Biden, your long-awaited visit to our village today allows us to focus on the things we agree with, acknowledging this disaster should have never happened, address the long-term health concerns and the economic growth of the village.
Yeah, so he kind of doesn't really thank him for coming to East Palestine, a year later. And in the video clip, Biden's in the background fumbling around in his coat. So,
You can't even feel bad for him anymore,
no. I mean, I kind of do because I do, I work in healthcare and I work with seniors a lot. And me and my wife have talked about this. Amy and I have talked about a lot about this, how it's just elder abuse, what's going on with him.
Yeah.
But then he does stupid stuff. No, not
Yeah.
really.
He's just like this mad, mean old guy. Like,
He's Mr. Potter.
yeah, he's just a mean old man.
He's getting rich off of our taxes that he's money laundering to Ukraine.
Yeah. And sometimes you're like, oh, I just feel bad for him. But then you're like, no, he's terrible.
No, not really. He's just an awful.
You just can't at this point. There's just been too much. But I liked the little digs that the mayor had in his speech towards him.
Long awaited.
Long awaited. And then didn't thank him at all.
Yeah, he thanked the state and local guys, but nothing about the feds.
Yeah. It's crazy. And then I'm sure you've listened to what Trump said after, or not Trump, but Biden said after that, his speech to them.
This one?
Yeah, because he gave a little speech after the mayor.
But they'll be there until it's done or something? Yeah.
To me, it sounded so much like he was trying to take credit for what they've done. And it just, like, if I were them and I lived there, I would be just so mad.
Well, they were. There was all kinds of signs that said, like, don't sniff me. And just, they were pissed. They were, I would be too.
Yeah. I'd be really upset because he's done nothing. Hasn't been there. Done nothing for him.
Remember, he's 14th president, best president we've ever had.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's bad.
He's a great man. But, well, I think that's it for the show. Thank you, Sean, for coming again. What was the Kexi stuff again?
Oh, yeah, it's Kexi.com if you want some handmade gourmet cookies. We ship all over the country. We don't ship internationally. So if you're international, sorry. Yeah. But
come to America and get some cookies.
Yeah. It's Kexi.com, KEKSI.com. So check it out.
Discount?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The discount is Winter Blues. All one word. So just use that during checkout and you'll get 10% off.
And Kexi actually means
cookie.
Cookie in Finnish. So you're cookie.
Yeah. Cookie company.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, they're fantastic. So thank you very much, Sean, for coming and being a part of this and giving your insight on the Finnish people and kind of what they thought.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How they're kind of scared of Putin and we should stay out of people's business. But yeah, you can follow the show elsewhere on Facebook, X, TikTok, True Social, and YouTube. Kate and Eric Show on all of those. And there'll be more great stuff next week. So thank you and have a good night. Bye.